What's going on, guys? The other day, actually yesterday, I got a couple Ardent reels in here. I'm pretty new with the Ardent stuff. Just started using them. This year is going to be my first year with them. I ordered one Apex Elite just to try them out. And I gotta say, I was out the other day with it in my yard because it's too cold to be out on the water, at least to put a boat in the water. So what I did was I put this little jig on here, and I went out, and my neighbors probably thought it looked pretty goofy, but I'm out there and I went pitching to a few trees, and you know, just pitching and stuff around the yard, and I was pretty impressed with it. You know, I feel like I can actually pitch further than before. I was using some Abu Garcia, nothing real expensive, just a Black Max combo, but I was always very happy with them. With this, I feel like I can pitch it farther. The spool doesn't. It requires less thumb for me to keep it from backlashing. So then, what really blew me away was normally when you're out there and you're pitching, you have a reel set up to pitch. So it's a little bit looser because you want it to come off the reel a little bit easier. So I'm pitching, and I'm like, all right, you know what, let me try. I want to see how far this thing can cast. Because everybody's saying these Ardent reels, they cast farther than anything they've ever used. And, I mean, honestly, I didn't really believe that because, I mean, it doesn't seem like the reel should have that much of a difference. Then I went out, and I casted, and I just couldn't believe the difference on how far I was getting. It's outside, so you can't really see what I was doing. I cast way past my shed out here, and really impressed. But the really crazy part was I didn't do any adjustments on the reel, and I used almost no thumb. So I went from pitching to casting with absolutely no adjustment on the reel spool here, or adjustments on the magnet. I had it about, you know, halfway up with the magnet. But I mean, they're really cool looking. Which, you know, that's always important too. Not nearly as important as the, you know, the function of them. You can get cheap reels that look cool, but they don't work that great. So I really like the colors. It has the carbon fiber handle with the EVA grips, which are pretty comfortable actually. They got very nice, which I've actually noticed when I was looking at a lot of the videos online too. The details are really hard to see on camera and in pictures. So you probably can't see it. Let me see if I can adjust the light here a little bit. Around the handle here is a very fine blue line. In here, there's a lot of blue, kind of like etched in. It's etched. It's like engraved, but then also the colored in blue inside of that. So there's a lot of blue in there, some blue in here. It's very nice looking. It's just enough to make it look nice. I really like the way it looks. I prefer black reels myself. I was kind of close to buying the Apex Grand, and I decided, you know what, let me give these things a try first, because these were just a little bit cheaper, and my personal preference is to have the black reels. Not to mention the Apex Edge, or the Ardent Edge rods, they're black too. So I mean, it's a combination that just works out perfect, because if you look, the handle, it has all the blue, same color as what's on the reel, and it has micro guides all the way down it, and towards the end they get really nice and close. So I'm very happy with the whole setup. So I went ahead and I ordered a few more of them, which is what I actually used to make, I don't know if you haven't seen it, a video that I did the other day on top shotting. So they're down here. But the other thing that I ordered, which I wasn't going to order, was, because I'm not really big into spinning rods. I don't use that many of them. I have a few on the boat, but it's not something that I tend to rely on. This is the Ardent Bolt. Now it looks pretty much the same as the Apex Elite does, as far as, you know, the colors. So it's got the carbon fiber handle. It's got the carbon fiber handle here with the EVA grip. Same thing. It's got blue around the handle here. Trying to get it up here in the camera, it's a little high for me right now. But then it's got a lot of the cutouts. It's just very nice looking, right? So what really got me was I I used a friend of mine's for like 30 seconds. You know, I went in and I'm reeling the thing and I'm like, wow, this thing is, it's unbelievably smooth. And when you reel it in, you turn the handle and it just keeps on turning. It's crazy. I don't know how they made it like that smooth, but I was so impressed with it. I went ahead and bought one for now. I might have to go get a couple more depending on how much I use it this year. But I bought a couple of the Ardent Finesse reels too. I was going to get the Finesse rod, but I already had a couple spinning rods, so I said, why not? You know, why waste them? Those ones I haven't put on anything yet, but here they are. They're these are the 2000 size, by the way, which I felt was perfect. 3000 is nice too. A friend of mine had that. It was just a little bit too much, in my opinion, for most regular bass fishing. You don't really need that big of a reel. So this is the Finesse, and as you can see, the reel handle is literally turning just by its own weight. So that's how smooth these things are. They're extremely affordable, which it really surprised me because for the price, it looks nice, right? So, but the fact that this thing, it turns that easy. Something I left off, that bolt is a 6.3, I think. It's a 6 something. I think it's a 6:3 to 1 ratio. So that's pretty awesome for a spinning reel. This right here, I believe, is a 5. Now this is actually a 6 also. So even these, this is a 6 to 1 ratio. So every time you turn this handle, that right there is going to spin 6 times. Now, something that a lot of reels you'll get, you know, I have a couple of cheap ones over there. The bail winds up being really cheap, cheap metal. I feel like it's not really important because, you know, it doesn't affect the, you know, how it reels and whatnot. But this thing right here, these bails, when you turn these things, they feel secure. They feel really, really well made. Very thick wire, not any of that cheap stuff, and very, very secure. Very happy with what I've got so far. I'll have to see how they do over time, but just super, super impressed. I don't know if I missed anything on these things, but if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me after the video. The other thing that I'm just starting to really get into is this bliss. So this bliss, Ardent Bliss braid. This stuff is so smooth. It's like dental floss. Like, this is 12-pound test line, so I'll be using this on some of my spinning rods here. But the diameter of it is probably, I'm not even sure because it doesn't say what it's equivalent to. But if I look this diameter up, I'm going to say it's probably equal to about 4-pound test, you know, at the most. It might even be, I don't know if there is really much less than that, but it's probably about equal to that. So this stuff's pretty cool. I have it on, can't actually see it anymore because the bolt has a T-shot done to it. So it's got fluorocarbon on the top of it. But it's just really nice and smooth. Comes off the spool, nice and straight, no memory. Really good stuff. See how it lasted a year. I have no doubt that it's going to be really good out there. So first time I get a chance to take these things out and use them, I'll have to post something about how well or not well they work. But right now, just from out using them in the yard, I'm pretty impressed.